morning, and thanks for choosing Fox 10 News on this Saturday morning. Today is June 26th. Happy Saturday. I am Gianni Navarro. Well, Jennifer, it's been quite the ride this week with all this undetermined weather, when it's going to rain, when it's not. But I think today we might get some sunshine. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. I mean, this is summertime in the south. We're talking that heat, that humidity, and also those scattered rain shower chances. Yeah, those are continuing heading further on into your Saturday. Now, starting off for today, it's looking good in most places. We're starting to see just some mix of cloud cover out there, just a little bit of clutter on that radar at the beginning there. But then anywhere starting to see some of those showers, that's going to start out in southern Mobile and Baldwin counties so far for this morning. So zooming in closer, a lot of this offshore. If you're in Gulf Shores or Fort Morgan, you can probably see those big towering rain clouds just off the coast. Just starting to pick up on some of that heavy rain starting to move through Fort Morgan. Pretty fast moving, but also not seeing any lightning in that so far for today. But that's going to change heading on into this afternoon. We're going to start to see more of those hit or miss thunderstorms. And also they're just going to be some of those big towering clouds with some of that frequent lightning still in them. But so far we're starting off in the mid 70s, 75 in Mobile and along with Pensacola. Seeing some of those clouds in both areas with that calm wind, but those dew points in the lower 70s. We're going to be feeling that by the afternoon. Our daytime highs add on about 5 to 10 degrees for that feels like temperature. But for your 24-hour planner, what can you expect this afternoon? We're still seeing those mid 80s, below average for this time of year for the end of June. And then heading on into this evening, we're still going to be seeing those 70s. So in case you do have any Saturday evening plans, expecting those lower 80s. But again, by the afternoon, we're easily going to be feeling like the mid 90s. But coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk more about your Saturday, talk about that beach forecast, and also take a look at the futurecast. Gianni.
That sounds great, Jen. Thank you. In the news this morning, a cruise ship is setting sail today from Florida, making it the first cruise ship to leave from an American port with paying passengers in 15 months. There are still major protocols in place to try to keep everyone safe. The ship will be sailing at just 36% capacity, and almost everyone on the board will be totally vaccinated. 1% of the passengers are not, 2 adults and 24 kids to be exact. The Celebrity Edge has approval from the CDC to set sail. Royal Caribbean CEO says he's confident the cruise line is ready to get back to business. Today's departure comes after 4 passengers on 2 ships in Royal Caribbean Cruises lines outside of the U.S. tested positive for COVID-19 earlier this month. The United States and the global community are concerned the Delta variant of COVID-19 may hinder reopening efforts. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller has more.
If you're not vaccinated, don't put it off any longer.
President Biden pleading with Americans to get vaccinated as soon as possible. This as the more transmissible Delta variant of COVID-19 continues spreading nationwide, accounting for at least 20% of all new COVID cases. Concerned health officials are sounding the alarm, describing the strain as a potential roadblock to recovery in the coming months.
The Delta variant is currently the greatest threat in the U.S. to our attempt to eliminate COVID-19.
The Delta variant is already hindering reopening efforts across the globe. Residents in parts of Sydney are being told to shelter in place unless for essential goods, following an outbreak of COVID-19 cases in the city. Meanwhile, Israel reimposing their indoor mask mandate after 90% of new infections were linked to the Delta variant. And Russia is mandating vaccinations for certain occupations in a nation where only 11% of the population is fully vaccinated. Here at home, the Biden administration is calling June the month of action, vowing to provide vaccination assistance to areas with low inoculation rates. A number of states that have seen lower vaccination rates are reporting an uptick of cases in recent weeks.
We were beginning to see major slowdowns in vaccination rates in states where there was vaccine hesitancy. That was one of our real concerns.
A new analysis shows nearly all U.S. COVID deaths are now among people who aren't vaccinated. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
More than 151 million Americans are now fully vaccinated. That's almost 46% of the U.S. population. 16 states have already reached President Biden's goal to vaccinate 70% of adults against COVID-19 with at least one dose before July 4th. Another 16 states are not too far behind, having fully vaccinated more than half of their residents. But the daily pace of vaccinations has dropped off to 735,000 doses a day as of Friday. Health experts say people who don't get vaccinated are putting themselves and others at risk, and now it could mean losing a job or getting banned from school. Some businesses are requiring it for employees going back to the office. In December, the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission determined it's legal in most cases. States can also require people to get vaccinated based on legal precedent from 1905, when the city of Cambridge, Massachusetts was fining people who refused to get a smallpox shot. The court said the community had the right to protect itself. That's what the city of San Francisco says it's going to be doing by requiring city employees to be fully vaccinated. And hundreds of universities and colleges are requiring students to get vaccinated, including Indiana University. And now 8 students from the school are suing.
They're being stripped of their constitutional rights to make medical treatment decisions for themselves.
IU spokesperson says the university is confident it will prevail, just like Houston Methodist Hospital did after a judge dismissed a similar lawsuit brought by employees. Southwest Alabama is still mourning the death of former Congressman Sonny Callahan, who passed away at age 88 early Friday morning. Congressman Callahan was first elected to the House of Representatives in 1984 and served for almost 2 decades. Condolences are pouring in for a man who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential politicians in the region. But according to friends, never forgot those humble roots. Congressman Callahan was born in Mobile to a large Irish Catholic family. His father worked as a bagman for the railroad. Callahan attended McGill-Tulane Institute, served in the Navy, and drove an 18-wheeler for the family business before getting into politics. After stints in the State House and Senate, he ran unsuccessfully for lieutenant governor in 1982. It was the only election he ever lost. 2 years later, retiring U.S. Rep. Jack Edwards persuaded Democrat Callahan to switch parties and run for his seat. His nephew, Mike Callahan, recalls how his uncle went on to win that race by about 4,000 votes. It was the closest race for the 1st congressional district in the past half-century. Many people are remembering the work Callahan did in Congress for Mobile, helping to secure funding for the University of South Alabama, Spring Hill College, the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program, and more. But Mike Callahan says the congressman's greatest legacy is his family. He fondly recalls Easter family gatherings at his Granny Fan's house.
Uncle Sonny was always the one that would tell you where the good eggs were hidden, because he was the hider, one of the hiders.
Funeral arrangements have not been made yet. Governor Kay Ivey has ordered the flags lowered to half-staff in honor of Congressman Callahan. Despite the massive search and rescue mission underway at the collapsed condominium near Miami, 159 people still remain missing. 4 people are confirmed dead, but officials, family members, and search crews are holding out hope. Authorities identify the first victim of the condo collapse as first responders continue their frantic search for any survivors. The medical examiner has identified the first victim as 54-year-old Stacy Fang, the mother of the teenage boy who has been pulled out from the wreckage Thursday. Fang's cause of death has been ruled the result of blunt force injuries. Her son, Jonah, miraculously only suffered minor injuries. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll show you some of the challenges rescuers are facing. A 17-year-old who is behind bars is accused of killing another teen. This is Jacorius McDonald. He's charged with the murder of 17-year-old Harold Jordan III. Investigators say McDonald shot and killed Jordan last month on Brill Road near DIP. McDonald was captured by U.S. Marshals and booked shortly before noon yesterday. And a man is charged with capital murder in the death of a toddler. That's according to Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's deputies. They say earlier this month, 27-year-old James Ward of Moss Point brought the unresponsive baby girl to the hospital in Pascagoula. Her injuries were so severe, she had to be flown to a New Orleans hospital where she died. Investigators aren't releasing the details of those injuries, but say they were enough for him to arrest Ward. He's currently in the Jackson County Jail. The child's mother, Tara Naniya Amerson, is also charged in this case with hindering prosecution. We're learning new information about a search in Spanish Fort for what the police department there is calling the Tidy White Bandit. Police believe he was trying to break into cars over the weekend. Spanish Fort police went door to door in the Stonebrook subdivision on Friday. They ended up leaving with some new video from over the weekend that shows the so-called Tidy Whitey Bandit may have had a partner. Cameras might help catch crooks, but in this case, the two suspects didn't seem to care if they were recorded. Spanish Fort police dubbing one of them the Tidy Whitey Bandit as the suspect went on to car trying to find an open one.
I thought the name was appropriate, that if you're going to go out there and use a pair of underwear to break into vehicles, we're going to call you out on that.
Both of these videos are from the same area over the weekend, just minutes apart. Spanish Fort Police Chief John Barber says nothing was reported stolen that night, but overnight Monday, a gun was reported stolen from the subdivision. Chief Barber says there have been a rash of car burglaries on the Eastern Shore in the last week. Daphne police arresting this 18-year-old yesterday. He is accused of breaking into multiple unlocked cars on Sunday, stealing several guns. Spanish Fort Police are now working with Daphne to see if it's the same suspect. And Orange Beach police say this guy is wanted for stealing guns from houses on exclusive Ono Island, a gated community there. They're hoping someone watching right now can recognize him or the burgundy SUV seen leaving the island recently. Please call Orange Beach police if you have any information.